Undercard press conference is a terrific heavyweight fight, and it's one of those which again is what we as people who follow the sport as commentators, it's the sort of fight you want to see because you really don't know exactly how it's going to pan out. Joyce undefeated in 9. Bryan Jennings, who, 4 years ago, went the distance with Vladimir Klitschko and has only tasted defeat 3 times in his career. One of those was against Luis Ortiz and then against Oscar Rivas in his last fight. He's going to be fighting Dillian White next week. And on the cards, I know it was very, very close going into that last round, and it was only in the 12th round that Rivas managed to win the fight. But Bryant, as ever, has come here in great physical condition. He's a guy who lives the life and one of the few vegan sportsmen at the elite level of boxing. I can't think of another off the top of my head, but he is that and proud of it. And Francis, first of all, just set the scene for these two as a fight, because it's one which has the makings of being a very good one.
Absolutely does. I said earlier on it's a genuine 50-50, and I think both guys will try and disagree with me, but I really do feel that with Bryant's experience at world level, you just mentioned the 3 guys that he's been defeated by, but you've just got to look at the guys he has beat over the years to know that he knows what it's all about, and he's obviously got world title aspirations of his own, and having those, getting back into world title contention. However, this man to my right, he's the juggernaut. He's just on a non-stop one-way mission to get to the top. And there's a man on Saturday night that's in his way. I think Joe's progression has been phenomenal. I think with especially now with Aaron Booth training him, I think you're going to see a real different animal on Saturday night.
Well, we'll hear from Brian first of all. You look across at this big fella called the Juggernaut. Barry Jones said something about him. He said he pummels you into the ground. He beats you up and pummels you into the ground. That's the guy I commentate with. And he's got this sort of relentless approach. How do you, with your style, how do you cope with that?
I mean, you cope with it the best way you know how. And in boxing, you're not only defending, you're offending, you have to defend as well. So the pummeling may just come from just one aspect, but what if a person, does not want to be pummeled?
You can't pummel what you can't get, presumably. That's
at all. And you can't pummel. You're gonna have a pummel versus pummel. So if it's gonna be rock'em, sock'em, robot, then let it be. Make sure you move your head.
people took.
Rock'em, sock'em, what?
If it's gonna be rock'em, sock'em, robot, y'all familiar with that? That might.
No.
Oh, rock'em, sock'em, robot, the thing that.
Oh, okay, yeah. What, the head pops up?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what rock'em, sock'em, robot is. So that's when 2 guys literally just stand in front of each other and literally just. And then first one. Yeah.
It's entertaining, yeah. So
Yeah.
you like that, yeah? No, you're saying?
No, I'm just saying.
But then your head pops up.
Yeah, or yours, maybe. Either or.
No.
Either or. You know it's boxing. So please don't ignore the possibility of anything happening in that ring. Okay? That's what experience will teach you. I mean, you go in, you thinking you got the whole fight. You think, I can do that. You may even think you can do a little bit, laying back and chilling. The next thing you know, wow, oh shit.
Okay.
Those are possibilities.
Yeah.
Brian, did you think of taking an easier fight than this big lad?
No, I always wanted, the tougher or toughest fights. That way I'm not wasting my time. I understand like having fights, coming off of layoffs. I understand those type of fights, but when it's time, let's make it meaningful. Because win or lose. If you win, if you lose, then it's like, okay, he lost to this guy. Wow, this guy, it's kind of a good loss, And when I started boxing, I wanted to be able to know that I belong here. So throughout my career, since day one, I want the toughest guy. Because if I don't belong here, let me know right now. Don't waste my time.
There's going to be a lot of guys watching online, on BT, commenting on social media, and they're going to be wanting to know, Joyce here, 9 out of 9, you at this stage in your career, coming in off a loss,
Right.
how much are you truly, in your heart, here to win?
You go out, you set out to win every single time. Every single time you set out to win. Nobody goes out and say, okay, I'm gonna go lay down. That ain't in my blood. You know, it's not in my DNA. Period, point blank. So laying down is that's just something I can't comprehend at all.
Do you think they've miscalculated?
Well, I mean, with that, I don't even know where they could calculate. Where's the formula at for that? You know, I don't think that's not even a good calculation period. So to calculate the fact that, oh, okay, he's here to lay down, I don't know. They got their numbers wrong. Pull out a calculator.
Joe, how are you feeling at this stage, close to the fight? And what are you expecting? He says he's here to win, and maybe that you've miscalculated.
Well, I'm good. I'm ready. I've had a good camp. You know, I've been putting in the work and incorporating what Adam Booth's been teaching me and the team, and I feel that I'm ready for whoever, and I'm really excited because it's going to be such a big fight against a very credible opponent. Bryan Jennings, he's very experienced, and he's up for the challenge, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you feel by distance that this is the biggest fight of your career to date?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's my professional career. Yeah, it's a big fight. See what he's going to do. See if he's going to run, or is he going to come and go toe to toe, dash to dash?
Well, you'd think that's unlikely, wouldn't you?
Well, we shall see.
First 3 letters of assume.
Go on.
The first 3 letters of assume. Don't do it.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
Don't become it. So, you know, don't assume. Just go out there. You know, I know Adam has a thing for me. You know, 2014, I beat Mike Perez. Mike Perez was pretty much supposed to beat me. You know, Adam tried his best to try to do everything that, you know, he wanted Mike to do to be able to defeat me, and Mike didn't. So hopefully, you know,
Yeah, I'm better than Mike Perez.
And he punches a hell of a lot harder as well.
I mean, I get that. I'm not comparing you to Mike Perez. I'm saying the fact that, you know, I mean, you're not better than Mike Perez. Mike Perez is one of the. Perez is one of the most technical guys.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the most technical guys. I mean, not to take away from him. We understand you're bigger, you're taller. We understand you're bigger, you're taller, you might punch harder, but as far as like the technical aspect, Mike Perez is a
Because Cuban boxer.
he's a Cuban boxer. But what I'm saying is that me and Adam have a little history, and I know Adam wants this. Did he tell you that? Did he tell you that?
Nah, but
I'm quite sure he does. That's probably why I knew he trained you, but that's
okay.
not
So
like
1-0 to you, but now it's time for redemption.
Well, no, I mean, no, it's just, it might be personal for him. So, you know, in that aspect, I'm gonna take it even more serious.
Okay, well that's good.
It might be personal for him. Ain't got nothing to do with you. You are just his weapon to be able to say, I'm gonna get this motherfucker back.
Okay, yeah, well, that's what you think.
No, it's real. I beat one of his fighters in
So are you trying
2014.
to overcomplicate it? I'm just gonna come in with my simpleton, big guy juggernaut. It's just gonna be coming at you on Saturday night. So you just don't need to think of all the ins and outs. You just need to deal with the punches that are gonna be coming at you.
Right.
What's Adam added to the simpleton juggernaut? What's he put in?
Those slow, heavy punches coming at you for 12 rounds.
Okay.
How do you think he's improved, seriously?
Just not to be like sitting target. To, you know, after I've done my work, then I can get my head offline and, you know, try not to get hit with a punch in return. So, yeah, just working on that. A lot of leg work, get my footwork a bit better, and, you know, firing off the legs.
You acknowledge that you know, maybe against Stavern and other fighters, maybe you've taken more than you would have wished?
I don't mind taking a few punches. You know, you can't go out in the rain and not get wet. Right. So, but yeah, it's obviously better, more pleasing on the eye to, you know, give loads of punches and not take them in return.
you've won every fight you've had inside the distance so far.
Yeah.
Are you going in with that sort of mindset again on Saturday night?
Yeah, I want to continue that knockout, 100% knockout ratio, and go 10-0 with 10 knockouts.
But if you win this, right, you really are right back in the mix. I mean, it's a huge chance of, I don't really like using the word, but redemption for you. It's a chance to really get yourself back in the heavyweight reckoning.
Right. It's always elevation, you know, until you stop. Once it's over, it's over, you know. But for sure, we're moving forward. And you know, this is the obstacle.
So winning is done.
This is an obstacle, and you know, we're planning to move forward and move past this obstacle we have to deal with. Same thing now. Have to deal with.
So tell him what you expect to happen on Saturday night.
I mean, I expect him to bring his best. This is what it is. I expect him to bring his best, and I'm bringing mine. Period, point blank. There's no other way to put it.
Distance fight, go long.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Joe?
I'll be happy for it not to go the distance, and
I mean, of course.
but I mean, I'm comfortable doing 12 rounds. I'm very fit, super fit, so yeah. Just wanna line them up and knock them over.
Will you have one eye later on in the evening on Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman? Because obviously there's the possibility down the line that whoever wins this fight could wind up fighting the winner of that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. You know, it's an option. You know, hopefully I get back to the dressing room, get changed and have enough time to come out and watch it, because it's a very interesting fight. If not, hopefully I can watch it on the TV backstage in the dressing room.
Who do you think wins it?
It's a 50-50 fight again, and obviously Dubois is a very strong individual. If he lands on you, then you'll be in trouble. Whereas Gorman, you know, he's a lot more slick and very quick hooks, and you know, he's got.
You've been in the.
I've been in with both of them. I've watched them spar as well, so you know they're very 50-50, and you're just going to see the best. Who's the best in the best in that category in the Frank Warren stable.
Bryan, how much do you know about that the other fight on the bill, Gorman and Dubois?
I only know about Gorman. You know, I've sparred with Gorman a few times.
How highly do you rate him?
He's young.
Yeah.
So he's a phenomenal kid. Only way to go up is for up. So you know, he's a phenomenal kid. You know, can't really rate him based off of our performance and what we did, because we were really just working. But I did say this kid has a lot of potential, and looking at his past fights and stuff like that, he's a growing kid. I haven't watched enough or watched any of Daniel to be able to assess him in that manner. But I just think it's going to be a good fight for both of them.
Good to be on a big bill where there's a huge amount of interest.
Yeah. Honestly, I think me and Joe is the main attraction for real.
You think your fight could turn out to be a really top class fight?
No, on the card, I think me and Joe's fight is internationally more recognized. Internationally, I think we make the card. Don't take away anything from the main event, but I'm just saying.
I think it's very good domestically, the Dubois-Gorman fight. So.
Yeah, it's good domestically, but on the international level, based off of you being known and you fighting other American fighters and stuff like that. So
I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
I would agree, but I'm still going to take your head off.
Okay.
There's a lot on the line here, isn't there? I mean, you chose WBA gold title. They're getting into a position to probably be looking at fighting Manuel Charles. So for the regular title. So. There's a lot on the line, of course. Internationally, I think you'd probably say that there'd be a bit interest, but both great fights.
Is that WBA regular title a real possibility for for either or?
I think either of these guys would really, really fancy that fight, to be honest. I think Manny and Charles sitting there pretty and not really being chased after by anybody, but I think these two guys, I think the winner on Saturday, without a doubt, they want that fight.
Right, we'll do some head-to-head photographs in a moment, and of course all the one-on-one interviews you run through the fights, which are represented by the guys up here. But it's a tremendous bill, which I think has generated as much interest and speculation as many in recent months and years. Top of the bill, it really sells itself. It's one of the best heavyweight title fights, British heavyweight title fights in many a year. And I can honestly sit here and say, I simply do not know what's going to happen. It's a fascinating fight. And Francis, first of all, a few words from you. Terrific bill to be involved in, and a great lineup of fights.
It's another fantastic bill we're putting on. Following on from the show in Leeds last month. We're doing it again this Saturday and producing the top bills for the fans, both obviously in the ring and live on BT Sport. Saturday's card from especially the televised portion of it from top to bottom is second to none. All these guys are stellar professional fighters who are all at all at different stages of their careers, but will fight for world titles and will win world titles. And they're all in tough fights on Saturday, especially the top of the bills, the two heavyweight fights. I think they're genuine 50-50, both of them. And Liam, Sonny and Archie looking to continue their progression up the world rankings.
And it is a sales pitch which has to be made as well, and tickets are still available.
Some tickets still available. You can get them from the website behind us, which is access.com, and some still available. So if you haven't got them, make sure you snap them up.
Well, let's start with the fights that are represented by the guys up here now. First of all, Sonny Edwards, who's away to my left here from Croydon, fights out of Sheffield. Vacant IBF International Super Flyweight title fight against Hiram Gallardo from Mexico, who's had just 2 defeats, I think it is, in 16 fights, and is typically a tough game Mexican. And Sonny, the guy who, so far as British opponents are concerned, seems to be the one who nobody wants. You've performed so well in your recent contests, you've become a little bit of an avoided man.
Yeah, that's the way it seems to me at the moment. I mean, I know my promotion team, Frank Bourne, was going to win the first bid, to the best of my knowledge, for the British, and they pulled out with an hour to go. They weren't interested even hearing what the offer was. And they still got locked out of fighting for the British for a year, whatever the penalty is. And it's frustrating, really, because I would like to build my career the traditional way. You know what I mean? I think that's sort of the golden route that everyone would like to achieve, go English, British, Commonwealth, European, and that way. But that's not happening for me right now, because maybe I'm too much of a risk for what I can offer, as an opponent. Even though right now I'm getting good TV back on the BT, it's a massive platform. This will be my 3rd fight in a row live on a TV slot in BT. That don't happen all too often with flyweight and super flyweight, so I'm happy I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm open to speak with any of the British flyweight, super flyweights to fight. Absolutely any of them. Obviously, it's got to make sense, whether that's titles, whether it's opportunity, whether it's purse. If it makes sense, then I'm there. There's not a single name that I wouldn't. But for now, I'm not going to let anyone sort of delay or stall my career. I've learned from my brother's mistakes. He was promised a world title fight against a British fighter, vacated his British for that to happen, and then ended up boxing 2 8-rounders in 12 months. And I've learned from that, and then I saw how he was going through that period of his life, and it was hard for him. Obviously, he went full circle and he ended up winning the WBC world title. But I'm not going to go through that stage where anyone can stall my career. I've done the hard work and taken the risks to get up on these tables now and on these TV bills to fight in front of big audiences. So now I'm just going to stay busy. I'm getting really looked after by my management team. My promoter, to the best of my knowledge, is happy with me, how I'm performing, how I speak, how I hold myself. And I'm getting kept active. You know what I mean? I'm in a good contract and I'm in a really good position. And right now, the only person that sort of can take that away is by me not performing in the ring. So as long as I keep up my hard work in the gym and turn up on the nights, then I can only see it going an upward trajectory.
you had your wins against Ryan Farag and then Junior Granados, which was a tremendous performance after he clipped you early on. He came and did what was necessary there. And then your Portuguese opponent in your last fight, Pedro, Modos, and stopping him in 8. What do you regard as your best performance then, coming into this fight against Gallardo?
The best performance of my career tonight, I remember the most so far, is the Ryan Farag. That was meant to be a very hard step up. Obviously, I headlined my first show as well, which was like a sort of a boxing bucket list tip. And there was a lot of bad blood build up. I think we built fighting very well for 2 super flyweights. He's had a few losses, and I hadn't boxed on TV at all at this point. So main event and a decent little card in York Hall, and then I built off that. But that was the night that was sort of like a coming of age performance, because a lot of people, and they wouldn't have been wrong in thinking it. It was a hard fight, and a lot of people had him to cause me nightmares that fight, and it just didn't happen. And then obviously the Granados fight, I boxed only 7 weeks after. I did get put down, and like I said, I sustained an injury in the second round, but I got through it. I showed that I'm made of tougher stuff than that.
You hardly put a glove on you after that knockdown.
Yeah, and before he didn't really, to be honest, but then after he swung that big dark right hand, I thought he's not doing that again. But like I said, I'm just enjoying it. And Pedro Matos, I was coming off an injury. From when I got injured to when I started training, I did not step in foot in the gym for 8 weeks. You know what I mean? I ballooned up, I put on over 2 stone. So that was just sort of coming back into it, and I performed very well, and I felt as fit as I ever have.
So what about this Mexican lad? What sort of fight can we expect? Is he a typical sort of Mexican fighter?
Do you know what? I don't ever study too much of my opponents. I look at them when I get off an opponent, and I look at them with my trainer, but he tends to watch the whole fights, and I just watch a minute in a round and say, yes, usually that's been the pattern so far. Because I can't really watch what he's doing against these other Mexicans that are standing there in front of him, because very, very few people in the world have got a style like me. So they can look great against someone that's standing there in front of them, but until they're in with me, then they're different. They're a different fighter, because I'm in with them. But he's never been stopped. Like I said, he's boxed up at featherweight, winning against undefeated fighters, signed to Golden Boy, on Golden Boy promotion. So he's no mug, and he's coming to win. I mean, this is why the IBF passed this opponent. We had an opponent that was knocked back, unfortunately, another one of Jamie Collins' ex-opponent, the one before his world title. And that was another war. I think Jamie Collins got put down in the 7th, but got the win on a split decision. But that would have been a good stepping stone. But this fighter here, very tough from what I've seen. Typical Mexican. Come to have a go. If I'm standing in front of him, he'll be throwing punches. If I start slowing down, he'll keep going. You know what I mean?
And never stopped.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I've never tried to sell myself as the biggest puncher in the world. I'm quite happy saying I'm not, but I've got enough in my punch to stop people walking through me, and I'm elusive enough and tricky enough that over 10, soon to be 12 rounds, they don't really get too much opportunity to do any damage.
Last one for you. How does a Croydon boys, I should say, how do you get on in my hometown, Sheffield?
Well, originally it's for university. I studied for a couple of years when I first moved.
Hallam University, right?
Hallam University, I was at. And then when I went on GB, I couldn't go to university no more, because I had Monday to Thursday, I was up full-time on GB podium, and all my lectures were in between those days, so I think I had 3% attendance in my second year. Then when I turned pro, I moved to Marbella for a few months, tried working with a trainer out there, didn't work out, and at that point, my trainer now, my trainer as an amateur, Grant Smith, could train amateurs and pros again when the rules changed, and I went straight back to him. And yeah, I love it, do you know what I mean? It's like my home city really now. I spend all my time there, I don't really leave too much. I've got a baby who lives in Sheffield, so yeah, it's my life now. And when I'm in the next 12 months, 18 months, so I'll be looking to buy houses and that up there as well. So I've relocated for good.
And lastly, your mum, she going to be there at ringside again on Saturday?
Yeah, Mum's going to be there, which is good. It's always a good little boost to come out to her in the change room and whatnot.
She's had her battles with her health, and it must give you a boost that she so wants to be there to see you.
Yeah, she loves it. Sometimes, I don't know, it depends what mood we catch her in. Sometimes she'll just be crying, sometimes she'll be dancing, I don't know. So hopefully I box well enough that she's enjoying it. But this has been something in my life since the month before I won my first senior ABAs. This is when all of this happened, and that was 5 years ago. So it's something that we've had to come to terms with. It's you can turn around and be like, oh, why us? Why do we have to go through this with our family? But at the end of the day, we was blessed and lucky to have a loving mum. Well, sorry, I don't mean it like was have, but we still have her here. And we have the perfect mum, and we have such a good relationship with her. And some people that are very close to me didn't have that luxury. So I can feel sorry for myself all I want, but there's people to the left and right of me with a much worse situation. So I'm just blessed. Maybe we're living on borrowed time with her, but every day we get to see her.
His son's a terrific talent, isn't he? And he's showing that in every appearance he makes now, and all the time moving closer towards that holy grail of the world title.
Yeah, obviously, he's got a tough fight on Saturday. It's another ranking that he'll be climbing the ladder with on, another governing body that he'll be climbing the rankings with on Saturday with the IBF. We got him ranked number 13 at the convention about 6 weeks ago. So they're recognising that he's a super talent as well as the WBO already have done last year. It's pretty clear that none of the domestic guys fancy it too much. Again, spoke to Tommy Frank's promoter in Macau at the IBF convention, and he just said, no thanks, not for now. I said, well, when next? So,
That's it.
Every
time I get told, when the time's right, every single time when the time's right, the time will never be right. Because when I win a world title, if you think for a second I'm turning around and giving any of these jokers an opportunity, it's not happening. It's not happening.
So Sonny's, he's almost like press fast forward on the quality of the opposition that he's facing. But as you can hear from how grounded he is, how dedicated he is, and relocating to a new city and starting a family in a new city, it's not something he's playing at. And Sonny did an interview with BT Sport a few months back, and he said that he's been doing this for since he's 11 years old. So it's not something that he's taking lightly at all. This is his life and his career, and he's doing it to better himself, better his family.
Let's move on to Archie. His fight against Jordan McCorry coming up, WBO European Super Featherweight title fight, 10-rounder, and it's an interesting sort of measuring fight for you, I would think. You're wanting to do a better job on him than Sam Bowen did.
Yeah, well, people have said that, but to be honest with you, I've just got to do what I need to do. Corey gives Sam Bowen a lot of troubles that night, so I've just got to make sure I get through with a win and win in style.
I've been reading one or two of the quotes and hearing what he's been saying about the fights, and he thinks that his physical strength is gonna shock you, and that he's going to be able to put it on you as others haven't.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I've been in this game now since I was 7 years old, and I keep hearing the same stories. I'm now 24 and nothing's changed. So yeah, he's going to get in there. He's going to get himself fit, strong, try and rough me up for 10 rounds, like they all say they're going to do.
Pretty much as Leon Woodstock said he was going to do.
Oh, exactly that. My footwork was too much for him, and it'll be the same on Saturday. And he's going to be shocked because it's 9 months now since I boxed Woodstock, so I've got a lot stronger myself, and he's going to find out that himself.
You do feel that you're a physically stronger man than you were that night in Leicester?
Yeah, 100%, and in training it's showing, so it's good. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
You mentioned your footwork there. How much is that the key to your terrific success? Is that what you really think you are exceptional at?
Yeah, my footwork is phenomenal, and it has always been. So yeah, I just keep them. Everyone, when I first turned pro, everyone said, "Oh, you had too much of an amateur style. You can't do that in the pros." But at the end of the day, I train that hard. I can do it for 15 rounds, so it doesn't matter. So, and like I say, on Saturday, you'll see that this fighter's going to come out. He's going to try and rough me up, and he's going to fall through ropes. And I should make easy work of it on Saturday. But like I say, he's a tough opponent. But I've trained hard to make no one's coming, especially to my hometown, and take my belt off me. So.
Last fight, you landed some pretty good body shots to put the guy in trouble, and showing a little bit of that power that you're talking about.
Exactly that. Listen, no one has said that I'm a big heavy puncher, but and they say that Sam Bowen is a big puncher. Sam Bowen's not stopped any more than me, so I'm starting to show now that I can put people away, and the more I grow into the super featherweight division, into the weight, the stronger I'm getting, and on Saturday you will see that. Is
Sam Bowen, provided you come through on Saturday, is Sam Bowen an inevitable fight somewhere down the line? I mean, there are other people like Zelfa Barrett, for instance.
Yeah, at the minute the super featherweight division is hot He's
Yeah,
on
very
fire
much
at
so.
the minute, and there's some great fights out there. Obviously, Jamel Herring, a WBO world champion, has mentioned my name as well in interviews. So, like I said, I've got to get through Saturday, make sure I put on a good performance, and then I'll go back with the team and have a look what options we've got.
Still only 24, aren't you, as well? I mean, there's time on your side. It doesn't have to be tomorrow to get this world title fight. There's really no rush.
100%, but also I wouldn't take fights where I don't think I'm going to win. So I wouldn't take that fight if I thought I wasn't ready for that fight.
Francis, the whole division at the moment is exciting in this country.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite similar to the, if you look at the featherweight division, you look at, Josh Warrington beat, 3 domestic opponents in a row for his, to win and defend his world titles. We're getting treated at the super featherweight division, even earlier, because these guys are all, between 10 and 20 fights. If you look at, Archie and Leon last year, Leon and Zelfa, in Leeds. You've got a great fight between Sam Bowen and Kakachi, and Bowen and McCory was a great fight as well. And now, so they're all in the mix together. And I think the real winners here, obviously, are the fans, because they're getting treated to some fantastic nights of boxing. But it's with Archie, he's got a real tough fight on Saturday. I thought Jordan McCory really gave a good performance against Sam Bowen. And as soon as when the fight finished, I just said to Jordan, I said, please come back and fight for us again, because you're going to be a real test for any of our guys, and that's what Archie's got. But I feel Archie's got all the capabilities to put on a fantastic performance on Saturday, to come through it looking really good. After beating Leon, we would have liked to have get Archie to kick on a bit quicker. Had a bit of an injury. Ricks, had a 6th rounder, come back, looked good, and I think he's ready to pick up where he left off last October. And really looking forward to seeing you back doing what you do best.
Jordan said he's going to come out all guns blazing. Is that going to be something you'd welcome if he comes straight at you, trying to rough you up from word go?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I've trained for. So I've trained harder now than what I did when I boxed Woodstock. So, like I say, I'm in the best shape now. And like I say, on Saturday he's going to come and he's going to try and hunt me down and do what everyone else says they're going to do.
And I'm sure you're finding now that boxing fans are really starting to take notes. You've had the exposure, and you've produced the performances to go with it.
Exactly that. It's getting there now, and I've just got to keep winning, keep doing what I've got to do, and all these big opportunities will come.
Right, let's move on to Leon, who's going to be fighting Karim Achour for the vacant WBC silver middleweight championship, and I lose track of exactly what these mean. That guarantees a top 10 ranking, does it, Francis?
Well, Liam's already number 10, so
is it top 5?
I'll when Liam wins this on Saturday, we'll put a request in on the Monday morning for a top 5 ranking. Yeah, I mean, Hassan Adam was ranked number 4. It was the previous holder of the belt. So that's where this belt gets you. It's, real recognition, and you're only 1 or 2 fights away then from in a mandatory position for a world title fight.
And he really is moving impressively now towards a likely world title fight. I guess you could say within 12 months.
Really enjoying your boxing. Come to me the workout yesterday. When shadow boxing, give me 5 extra minutes. I'm enjoying this.
Well, you want
So I was like, no, 5 minutes for me. But 5 minutes extra, in front of the crowd, and he's enjoying it. And I think obviously after the setbacks he had, he's come back so strong, and he knows we're all fully behind him, and really, is motivated to win that title on Saturday and get back in the world title mix.
Yeah, since you switched up to Sheffield after those defeats against Liam Smith, terrific win against Mark Heffron, which I thought that night you were absolutely outstanding. It really was a very, very good performance. And then the first defence against Joe Mullender, who you put him away in quick time, as you said you would do. How happy are you with the way your career is right now?
Yeah, everything's gone perfect. Everything's gone planned. I believe the move to Sheffield was the best move of my career. It came at the right time. Still young enough to keep learning and progressing. Whereas if I'd done it 2-3 years later, who knows, I might not have slipped into the mold now. But yeah, I mean, it all came at a good time. I'm performing well. Happy with my performances, but I believe I need bigger name opponents now to bring the best out of me, because I honestly feel like, you know, I'm too good for these guys. I'm fighting. I've got a hard fight Saturday night, you know, with a highly ranked guy, previously being European champion and stuff. So he could bring, you know, it could be a tough fight, but I'm going in there with I got every plan to stop him because no one's done it before and I want to make a statement.
Went the distance with Martin Murray, went the distance last year with David Lemieux. I mean, he's obviously a guy who knows his way around the boxing ring. He sounds tough.
Yeah, of course. He's been around anybody with that much experience and that many fights under the belt. They're always going to be tough on all the way around the ring, obviously. But I mean, I just believe I'm on very good form at the moment. I'm only getting better, getting stronger. I'm not struggling to make weight at all, making it easy. Yeah, I think you're going to see another devastating performance on Saturday, and I'm going to be the first man to stop him.
What's been so good for you about the move up to Sheffield? What is it about the Ingle gym that you like?
I think mainly for me it's just the dedication side of them, away from home. I got no distractions. If you look at in the fridge in my flat, there's 1 pint of skim milk in the fridge, nothing else. I got no option to go in the fridge and like cheat them.
You don't like food?
Yeah, so I got no one phoning me to like, oh, do you want to just come for a little bit of food? Do you want to do this, do that? I'm waking up early in the morning, I'm training, I'm going back, I'm lying in bed until I train again. And that's my life. And that's why I've kept pushing on now, and my performances are only getting better because I'm living the right life and everything is perfect. And I've obviously got a great trainer in Dominic Ingle.